Hi. So first, thank you to all of you first responders. I can't imagine what it's like for you. I've been asked to contribute some of my anti-anxiety techniques, which I am more than happy to do. And so I'll keep it short, I'll keep it concise, I'll give you my favorite techniques that can be used in the moment, as well as when you get home to decompress. So the first one is very simple, one you probably already know, but just in case you don't, is a deep breath in and an exhale twice as long. Another deep breath in and exhale twice as long. Now, I would do 3 or 4. It's one of the fastest ways to downregulate the vagus nerve. That is the nerve that is in control of fight or flight and rest and digest. It goes from the brain down through the body, every organ, down to the gut and back up again. We've got a couple of ways of doing that are probably the fastest ways of calming down, of getting out of that stress state, right? From sympathetic to parasympathetic. So it's a deep breath in and then exhaling twice as long. Some people will do it to a count, 4 in, 8 out. Another quick way to do this on the job is to be aware that if you speak in longer sentences, you will have the same effect. So when you're dealing with someone who's stressed out and you're starting to get stressed out, if instead of clipped short sentences, you do very long sentences, right? Something like, "Hi, I'm here to help you. Just relax. Everything is being taken care of. We're going to get everything set for you." And when you can speak to the point where you run out of air, then you know you're down-regulating that vagus nerve. And then you take a deep breath in, and then you exhale. Got it? So that's another quick trick. So the idea of down-regulating the vagus nerve is one that you can think of in many different ways. We have the longer exhale. We also have ways of kind of getting in through the facial muscles, because there's really 2 vagus nerves and one controls, all the muscles in your face and even in your ears. So what I'm going with that is, if you drop your jaw, I know it's weird, not so pretty, but when you drop your jaw to the point where you feel like you can't drop it anymore, go a little bit more. And surprisingly, very quickly, you will feel your body start to relax and want to take a deep breath in, right? There's a reason why we say, "Oh, my jaw dropped," or "it was a jaw-dropping moment." It's rarely ever an anxiety moment they're talking about. It's a breathtaking moment. We are metaphoric. Another way is to quickly focus on your heart and imagine breathing through it. I know that's a little bizarre. Some people will breathe in for 5, breathe out for 5, but by focusing on the heart, an interesting thing happens quite rapidly, and you can also begin to go into a more coherent state, right? If you want to read further up on this, read Stephen Porges' polyvagal theory. He talks about something that I'm always training therapists in, which is neuroception. It's really the perception of your nervous system. We're always communicating millions of bits of information between us and you and your patients and the people you're taking care of. And what most people don't realize is that countless times a minute, your nervous system is asking a question from inside and outside. It's asking a question: am I safe? Am I safe? Am I safe? And we don't know consciously the things that trigger the nervous system. We know the obvious, but your nervous system has very different glasses it's looking through. And as I said, because the vagus nerve is linked to your facial expressions and even hooked into your ears, what people are sensing is your facial expression, your prosody, which is your intonation, which is almost melodic. Parents know this, pet owners, that's Gus, who's of course sleeping through this. You know that you speak to babies and animals differently, right? We use motherese or fatherese, right? If we said, relax baby, it will all be okay, that would be freaky and weird, because it's the very thing that triggers our nervous system that someone's not right. Same with a flat affect. So be aware when you're working with your patients, because the interesting thing about this is when you're working with your patients and you're aware of the neuroception going on, and so you smile and you bring the smile, you think something that allows you to smile and resonate with this person in front of you who's afraid and in pain, and you use your tone of voice that's a little softer, you'll find that you relax as well. We are so hooked in to each other's nervous system, more so than most people realize. So be aware of shifting your own breath, shifting your own tone of voice, your facial expressions. I have always at the ready a bunch of internal images that I can immediately think of that make me feel good. I think of my daughter, I think of her goofy faces, I can smile at some YouTube video that I've stored in my brain to always switch into a state where I'm more apt to calm someone else's nervous system. So we start with a deep breath in and we exhale twice as long. Another quick technique I want to share that's been saving me these days, and hopefully will really come in handy for you, is shifting out into peripheral vision. When we shift into peripheral vision, we naturally slip into a parasympathetic response. But more importantly, it stops internal dialogue. And for me, it took a little practice. So you can practice this while walking down the street. You can practice this anywhere. But let me show you how it works. As you're staring at me, what I want you to do is keep your eyes focused, and without moving your eyes, I want you to begin to become more aware of all the space outside of the screen. Kind of shift out as if you could be aware of the walls on either side. As if you could be aware of all the space beyond the walls, even the space behind you. And then bring it back into focus. Now, most people will have noticed that their body gets very calm and their mind goes quiet. And that is vital for these days, certainly. And you can do this anywhere. You can do this while even talking to someone, helping a patient. All you have to do is you find that focal point and you shift out. It's my mantra these days. Shift out and shut up. So practice this one. I can use it walking down the street. The back of the person's head in front of me becomes the focal point. I shift out and I shut up. And it's like pressing a pause button. We have a very short amount of time that we get a biochemical wash of stress chemicals, shorter than most people think. So if we can press pause, if we can shift out, we can allow that to dissipate, and then we have a better choice. We can choose how we want to feel. We can come back to neutral and then move on. So once again, practice shifting into that peripheral field, almost as if you could reach for that space behind you. Excellent. Another quick one is bilateral stimulation. You see, anxiety, fear, these things, part of what's going on, even though you're using your whole brain, obviously, there's an overactivation of one hemisphere, typically. And so one way to immediately stop the cascade of stress chemicals and to interrupt the patterned response, to interrupt the neural network, is to begin to use bilateral stimulation. And typically I'm holding something because I feel like there's a lot more neural real estate devoted to the fingers and on the hands in your brain. The hands in your brain, you know what I mean. So what I want you to do is, if you can grab something, typically not your cell phone, but it's the only thing near me, and you can pass it back and forth, crossing the midline, then in less than a minute, you're going to feel a kind of balance. I've watched this stop a panic attack, dead in its tracks, even an asthma attack, actually. So it interrupts the pattern. It gets you into a nice balanced state. That is the reason this works. Okay? So you can grab something. If you don't have anything at hand, then you can just do what I'm doing here. If you have children, please teach it to them. I work with a lot of kids, and this is one that they fall back on all the time. Bilateral stimulation, nice and easy. Sometimes with kids we do that cross, kind of a butterfly tapping. And if you know, if you've heard of EMDR, it's working with this bilateral stimulation. So it's a very quick and easy way. Also, by being active, by moving, you can express some of that stuff from the body, and you're using a different region of the brain. Okay, so bilateral stimulation, shifting into peripheral vision, taking a deep breath in, exhaling twice as long, elongating our sentences, which has the same effect, dropping the jaw, being aware of how shifting your facial expressions and bringing a little melody to your voice will also calm your own nervous system, funny enough, but certainly your patients. Another technique, I'm watching the time here because I was told no more than 15 minutes, and I have 3 minutes left. So another one is, when you're starting to feel anxious, what you might notice is anxiety tends to have a spin. I learned this from Richard Bandler. He is the co-creator of NLP, and this is his neurohypnotic repatterning. You notice what way that is spinning. You'll find it, and you'll see it in your patients. And what you want to do is you want to reverse the spin. And once you reverse it, something already shifts. But if you can reverse it and find something funny, I know that's in this chaos and this crazy world. That's a tall ask. So I keep funny moments at the ready. Anytime I watch something that makes me laugh out loud, and I will hunt them down on YouTube, funny things. And it's almost like my brain goes and takes a picture of it so I can use it later. So when I'm feeling anxious and I notice what way it's spinning, it's almost like I take it out and I reverse it, and then I think of my daughter's goofy face, and it just changes my state. Some people will, think of something they're grateful for, right? Nowadays it's really important to just take some time and be grateful, even for the crazy things like running water. That I have this sunny apartment, that I've got my dog and I've got my family safe, and that I've got people like you that are going out and taking care of people and doing the hard work and risking your lives. And everyone I know is so grateful for you, and I hope that you feel that and that you start to get paid better. Don't get me started. But anyway, so here's another one. All right, so you notice what way it's spinning, you reverse it. Just noticing where it is in your body sometimes. Whenever I'm starting to feel anxious or overwhelmed, where is this feeling in my body? What is it like? Turn it into a metaphor. I know it sounds silly, but this works. Your brain is metaphoric. Your mind is metaphoric. Turn it into a metaphor or a shape. If it feels like a tornado, what has to happen to a tornado in order for that to shift? Well, it has to just dissipate. And once you change the metaphor with a counter metaphor, you might be amazed at how quickly it shifts what you had been feeling. It really is quite extraordinary. Where is it in my body and what is it like? It's a question I ask myself over and over again. Well, it's like a tight knot. Well, what has to happen? Well, it's got to untie and loosen. Play with it. I know it sounds silly. There's another quick one I want to share, but you can learn all of these better than I can, and that's faster EFT. Feel where you feel it in your body, notice it, and then tap on these acupuncture points, top of the head, and just think to yourself, I'm going to let this go. Whoop. My time is up. Tap here, and here, and here, and here, here. Taking a deep breath in, and exhale, twice as long. So Google faster EFT. You find out where that fear is. Where is it in my body? And then you tap on the top of the head, between the eyes. I release and let this go. Side of the eye, under the eye, collarbone. Grab your wrist, touch that point, deep breath in. Exhale twice as long. Look up faster EFT, emotional freedom technique, for more, because my time is up. But once again, you feel where it is. Tap top here, here. I know it seems silly, but this one works more than you would think. I release and let it go. I release and let it go. Deep breath in. And exhale twice as long. And once again, thank you, thank you, thank you from my family to your family. Stay well.